Hello everyone, welcome to another video in the Predicting with MindsDB series. So in this video, we'll try to forecast the stock prices of Microsoft. So let's get started. In order to do this, we will need a MindsDB cloud account. So if you don't have an account yet, you can check out my video on how you can sign up. The link is in the description. So once you have signed up, simply log into the MindsDB cloud account and you will land up in the dashboard, which looks something like this. So the top part is for the query editor. We can write the queries here, and when we execute the query, the results are displayed in this bottom panel. And towards the right, we have the Learning Hub resources for anyone who is new to MindsDB. They can use these resources and get to know more about MindsDB. So in this tutorial, we will try to use a dataset which is publicly available on Kaggle. So I will be using this specific dataset, Microsoft stock data between 2015 and 2022. So the link to this dataset is present in the description. You can download it from there. So I have it downloaded in my machine already. So now what I will do is I will click on this add data. So now here we have a bunch of database integrations that MindsDB supports. But for now we'll switch to files and we'll say import file. Here I will click on import a file and I'll select this CSV file which I have already downloaded. I'll say open. Now we want to provide a name for the table, so I will say it is Microsoft and I will click on save and continue. Okay, so now the console says file is uploaded and we have two basic queries. The first one will help us check whether the table is present or not, and the second one will help us check whether the table has data or not. So let us execute them one by one. So I will execute the first one. So it returned the list of tables and we have the Microsoft table present here. So now let us run the second one. So we have the data records as well. So we have a date, the high, the low, the open close, volume and the adjacent close. So now what we want to do, we will go to the step 2 and we will try to create the predictor model. Okay. So before we go into creating the model, let me tell you that this is another time series prediction model. So we will really not predict a value, rather we will forecast values of future dates. So that is something we will be doing. So the create predictor syntax will be different, not different, but it will have a few extra parameters. So let us write the create predictor syntax for this one. So I'll say create predictor MindsDB dot name of the predictor. So let us say new Microsoft predictor. Then we'll say from the name of the database where the table exists. So it is files. So I'll say from files. Then we'll say select star from Microsoft. So this is like what all columns you want to feed to the model for training. So I'll say I want to feed all of these columns. So it is like select star from Microsoft. Then what we want to do, we want to define what we want to predict. So it is predict close. So basically we want to predict the closing price for the day. Okay. So it is predict close. Then we will say order this, like feed all the data, but order this based on this date. So we will say order by date. Then what we want to do, we will define the window. So I will keep it at 120. So what this means is that it will pick up the records, the last 120 records available in this table, and it will feed into the model for training. Okay. Then the next one is horizon. So here what we want to specify is that how many future days we want it to forecast. Okay, so I will say 60. I want to forecast for the next 60 days from the last date that is available in the table. So this is how the query looks like. Create predictor MindsDB dot name of the predictor from database. Select star from name of the table. Predict target value, order by date, window value, and then the horizon value. So now let's go ahead and execute this one. So it says the query successfully completed, but it will take a while for the model to be up and running. In the meanwhile, we can check the status of the model. So the command for that will be select status from MindsDB.predictors. So each and every predictor model that we train, it is stored as an individual record inside this predictors table. Then we'll specify where name equals name of the model. So I'll copy this name from here and I will paste it inside this. So let us run this one and fetch the status. Okay, so the current status is training. So generally you can expect three kinds of status from a predictor model. The initial one is generating, the second one is training, and the final one is complete. So we have to wait until the status is complete. So once the status becomes complete, we are ready to forecast the stock prices of Microsoft. Okay, so the status is complete now. We are ready to start forecasting. But before we start the forecast, let us first try to understand the details about this model that we just trained. So MindsDB by default provides three kinds of describe statements. So we will be using one by one those statements and we will try to figure out the details about this model that we just trained. So the first one will be describe MindsDB dot name of the predictor model, which is new Microsoft predictor, dot features. So basically, if you are interested to find out the roles that each of the columns serve for the model or the encoders used on them, then you can try this description. So let us execute this one. So as you can see, this is the list of all the columns that were present in the table. Then this is the type of data that they were holding. And then these are the type of encoders that were used during training, and this is the role that this column play for the model. Okay, so here we are predicting the close value, so this will be the target, and rest everything are features. So now what I'll do is I'll copy this query and I'll paste it below, and I will change the features to model. So you can choose to describe it by model if you want to figure out the underlying candidate models that were used during the training along with the one that was finally selected for the predictor. So let us try to run this one and see the result. Okay, so as you can see, these are the available candidate models that were used during training, and this records the performance of each of them. So Neural TS has had the highest performance, and it took a larger time, but based on this accuracy function, it was finally selected. So in this selected column, it is set to 1 for Neural TS and rest all are set at 0. So this is the selected one for the predictor. And the next one, what we want to do is we'll paste it once again and we'll change this to ensemble. So now if you are interested to further deep dive and find out how the candidate model was selected, you can try describing it with ensemble. So what this will do, it will return a JSON result with all the parameters that help to determine the best candidate model. So let us execute this one. So as I told you before, this returns a JSON output and it contains like all the parameters that help to determine the best candidate model. So these are the three descriptions that we can do for the predictor model that we just trained. So we had some insight for the predictor model. Now let's jump in and start forecasting the values. So for a start, what we want to do is forecast for the next 10 days. Okay, from the last day, that was present in the table, we will now try to forecast for the next 10 days from that day. Okay, so let's do something here. What we'll do here is I'll say order by, and I will say date, DESA. So what this will do is it will return us the last 10 records in the table ordered in descending order. So I'll execute this one now. So as you can see, the last date present in the table is 1/9/2022. Okay, so I'll copy this date and I will go down. Now we'll try to write a select statement to fetch the forecast values. So I will say select t dot date as date, comma, t dot close as forecast, then close underscore explain from MindsDB dot new Microsoft predictor as T join files dot Microsoft as M where M dot date greater than the last date available in the table, and then we'll say limit it by 10. So let me explain this statement here. So what we are doing here is we are trying to forecast the closing price of the Microsoft stock for the next 10 days. Okay, so the last record is 0/9/2022. So we will try and ask the model to forecast for the 10 days after this date. So here what we are doing is we are fetching the date, the closing price, and the close explain from the Microsoft predictor. We have given an alias as T. So why we are doing a T dot date is because we are we are forecasting the future dates, and those dates are not available in the table by default. So this is something the predictor will forecast and it will fetch those dates, right? So that's why we are doing a T dot date instead of M dot date. So we are saying, return me a table with a column with the value of T dot date as date. So the column name will be date. Then with the value of T dot close, and the column name will be forecast. Then the third column is close explain. So this will basically contain a JSON with the predicted value, the confidence for the predicted value, a anomaly, truth value, and so on. Okay, and then we are joining it with the table itself, and we are giving the table an alias as M, and then we are saying get the date limited by 10 rows. So how it will determine the 10 rows? That this M dot date should be greater than this. Okay, so now it will fetch us the next 10 days. So let us execute this one now. So as you can see, so here the date is 2/9. So we said that where the M dot date should be greater than 1/9. So we got the result from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so we fetched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we were able to forecast for the next 10 days, and this is the forecast value. And in the close explain, this is the same value you are seeing in forecast. Then the confidence is 0.9991, which means that the model is 99.91% confident. that this predicted value is true. Now let us try to do something different. So what we will do now is we will copy this one and we'll paste it below, and we'll add another column. I'll say m.close, and we'll increase the limit to 60, and we will put 1 month below from the last one that is available. So what we are trying to do here is we are asking the model to predict for the last 1 month that is already available in the table, along with 1 month in the future. Okay. So for the existing 1 month, we will find a value in this column, and for the future values, for the future dates, we will find the value as null in this column. So let us run this one now. Okay, so if you can see this one, so this is the query. So as you can see, we said that the m.date should be greater than 1.8. So we are getting the forecast from 2.8, and it is going on, and we have the forecast value. This is the value that the model predicted, and this is the actual closing value. So now let's go down, and from here you can see the close column value is null. So starting from here, these are the dates into the future. So there is no value in the close column in the default table. So that's why these are set at null, and we have the forecast values for those. So that's all. We were successfully able to forecast the stock prices of Microsoft. I hope you had a great time watching this video. So drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and do share it with your friends. And before you leave, don't forget to drop a GitHub star on the MindsDB GitHub repository. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.